Let me ask you a question. Who is my neighbor? Like, really, who counts? And I don't mean the Sunday school answer, I mean in real life. Is it just the people who think like me? The people who live near me? The people who agree with me? Vote like me? And see the world like me? Because when we hear love your neighbor, most of us already have someone in mind. And we also have someone we're quietly excluding because as a Christian, we don't wake up trying to be unloving. We don't usually say, yeah, I don't care about people. We just put borders around our compassion. We decide who deserve patience, who deserve understanding, who deserve mercy. And the closer someone feels to us, the easier love becomes. And there is a word for that.
Selective compassion?
Yeah, it's when our kindness has conditions, when our love depends on comfort, and when mercy only flows in directions that feel safe. And if I'm being real, this isn't something I see out there. I see it in myself. And what's wild is this struggle isn't new. Someone once asked Jesus the exact same question, not because he wanted to love better, but because he wanted to know where the line was. How far does love really have to go? And Jesus' response didn't give him the answer he was hoping for. Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Isaac, and here we dive into faith, real life, and how God's word shows up in the everyday stuff we all face. And in today's video, I want to talk about the story Jesus told that really flips the way we think about love and mercy. But before I talk about what Jesus said, I need to be honest about something, because I love the idea of loving my neighbor, but I just don't always love everyone the same. There are people I'm patient with, and there are people I hope don't need me. And that's when I realized this story Jesus tells, and it's not about other people, it's about me. Because if we're being real, most of us don't wake up trying to be unloving. We don't usually say, yeah, I hate people. We just add conditions. Love them as long as they're respectful, as long as they don't push my buttons, as long as they agree with me, as long as they don't make me uncomfortable. And that's selective compassion. And someone once tried to justify that by asking Jesus a question. So Jesus tells this story. A man is walking down the road, not just any road. This was a dangerous one. Everyone listening would have known that. He is attacked, robbed, beaten so badly he is left half dead. Then Jesus says a priest come by. Now this is where people would expect help. This isn't a random person. This is a religious leader, someone whose job was to represent God to the people. If anyone should stop, it's him. But he sees the man and walks to the other side. Then Jesus says a Levite comes, another religious leader, another person who knows the law, another person who knows exactly what God requires. And if you're listening to this story, you're thinking, okay, maybe the first guy had a reason, surely this one will stop. He doesn't. He sees him and keeps walking. And then a Samaritan comes by. Now this matters, because Samaritans weren't just disliked, they were despised, they were excluded, written off, considered spiritually corrupt. So, to the people listening, the Samaritan was the last person you'd expect to be a hero. If Jesus were telling this story today, this would be the person you'd secretly hope doesn't stop. But he sees the man and stops. He doesn't debate. He doesn't look for a reason not to help. He moves toward the pain. He goes to the man. He binds his wounds. He pours oil and wine, his own supplies. He takes him to an inn, and he stays, not just long enough to feel good about himself. He stays. The next day, Jesus says, he pays the innkeeper, and then he does something that matters. He promises to come back. He says, Whatever it costs, I'll repay you. In other words, this wasn't a moment of kindness. This was a commitment. Then Jesus turns back to the man who asked the question. He doesn't ask, which one of this man was the neighbor? He asks, which one acted like a neighbor? And the man can't even bring himself to say the word Samaritan. He says,
he that shewed mercy on him. Go, and do thou likewise.
When you really listen to what Jesus is doing here, he's expanding the whole idea of neighbor. It's not just people close to us. It's not just people we understand. It's not just people who feel familiar. According to Jesus, your neighbor can be someone you normally walk right past, someone you don't argue with, someone you'd rather not deal with. And sometimes it's easier for us to love our neighbors as long as we get to pick the neighborhood. Loving people who feel easy to love. That part isn't usually hard. The struggle shows up when love starts costing something, when it asks for patience I don't feel, when it asks for grace I wasn't planning to give. And that's how selective compassion works, not by making us cruel, but by making us careful. We become generous in directions that feel safe and distant in directions that feel complicated. We don't shut our hearts off completely. We just narrow the flow. And every generation has its Samaritans, the people we struggle to see as worthy of mercy, the ones we've already made our minds about, the ones we hope someone else will love instead. And by the way, this isn't about agreeing. It's not about excusing behavior. It's not about pretending differences don't exist. It's about choosing not to turn people into category, not reducing someone to a label or a headline or a single opinion. It's about remembering they're not just an issue, they are a person. And let me leave you with this. I don't think loving our neighbor always starts with action. I think it starts with attention, with noticing who we've been avoiding, who we've been walking past, who we've quietly decided isn't our responsibility, because the road Jesus talks about, we're already walking it.
I'm gonna choose to reach out, choose to lay down all of the fear that I've been hiding, choose to be brave, though my heart's afraid, to be a part of your kingdom rising. Oh, God, I'm done running from the reason that you sent your son, so I'm gonna choose. Maybe I'll hurt, maybe I'll bruise, maybe I'll cry, maybe I'll lose, still I will choose to love.